Hello, welcome to McBossCap channel. My name is Michael Chu. This video we're going to talk about the general market and large caps as well as some growth stocks for the week ending March 20th, 2020. So here's the weekly chart of the Nasdaq Composite Index. So this week we suffer a pretty big drop here. We undercut the black line, which is the 40 weeks moving average by a significant amount here, and we are down like from this high here is about 8 weeks now, and we are down 10%, which means Nasdaq in correction territory. But probably the biggest thing here is, it's been a while since we crossed that black line. The last time was in February 2025, and we had that huge correction to April. Who knows what will happen? The situation with the war with Iran, Israel, and US is definitely very turbulent. Day-to-day activity is, different. Although Trump administration has said that they may start to wind down the war, but who knows, right? Things are being escalated on a day-to-day basis from Iran, and things could continue to get out of hand, which means oil price could continue to climb and so forth. So that impact a lot of the world economy in that sense, and so yeah, with the market now in correction territory, obviously the stocks have been hammered, and it has started for a while now, right? If you look at this chart here, we actually topped earlier in the year, and actually no, that was in November, October around. Yeah. So obviously we saw the software group got hit, the hardest then, and then recently we're seeing almost every sector getting hit now. There's really not many sector, no sector area that is actually not going down from this recent correction. So that is the biggest problem. And we'll show that later. There's only less than 10% of my growth stock list are in uptrend. So 9 out of 10 stocks are in downtrend. So trying to fight that trend is really hard. If you're holding most of your stocks, that is the biggest problem, right? Is that holding, is usually only for long term, but short term is going to be lots of pain. Next, we have the S&P 500 weekly chart here. Again, we see very similar pattern. We broke the 200-day moving average here, or the 40-week, and it is significantly below it. And so that is not good news. Very similar chart. We didn't cross that line since last year, early last year. And this is something to watch right now, as there's lots of selling pressure building up. Basically, right now is panic time. If anyone see more selling, they may panic to sell. It's just one of those ball rolling downhill, and everyone just like trying to either they're a long-term holder or they're not, and they eventually get fear and sell out, right? So this is that moment right now. Whether the market will bounce anytime soon, anticipating the war will be over, who knows, right? That is probably the next catalyst, right? Let's look at the equal weight for the index here. This is Nasdaq 100 equal weight. QQEW is the symbol. We also making new lows here, not doing really well. Obviously, with the tech area, a lot of the Nasdaq 100, a lot of the tech stocks have been hit hard, especially in the software group. Even though they recently rebound, but still, some of them are starting to go back down. But the index here just show many tech stocks in that list is not doing well and making new low, although by not much, but still, it's still a down week. And here's RSP, equal weight S&P 500, also making a new recent low here, coming down to the black line as well. Although slightly, just slightly better than the S&P 500, because it's not below it, but still, it's still not looking good. Here's Dow Jones Industrial weekly chart. This one also looks really bad. We just undercut the black line by a significant amount. And again, we don't have much any moving average below it that can support this, because this is already the long-term moving average. Again, very similar chart. We broke that last year early, and we went down a lot further. This time, I have no idea if that's going to happen again, but it's just not very good. And volume has been rising on the selling side too, so that's another negative, right? Looking at the daily chart again, you can see how it just dropped 3 days now under that line, the black line. Dow also had corrected 10% from the high here. So now this one also entered correction territory. Here's the Russell weekly chart, also coming down to the black line here. It has corrected over 11% now. Here's the daily chart, coming down to the black line as well. Um, we still have this lower support line, and it hasn't come down below it. But again, it's not really hard to get below it if it continues to sell off. Here's a look at the innovator IBD50 ETF on the weekly chart. This one also coming down hard for the 3 weeks in a row. It has now broken also the black line, and now it's getting closer to the previous base low here. So that looks very terrible at this moment. Here's the daily chart. Again, we're seeing it undercut the black line, the 200-day moving average. We failed this breakout here from this nice cup with handle pattern, and now we're just coming down at a really steep slope, and many growth stocks are just getting overwhelmed with their distribution, higher volume selling. Take a quick look here at the 10-year Treasury yield. It has come to 4.38%, really high. It's a pretty sharp increase here this week, and so this is definitely not looking good as well for the general market. US dollar is also very volatile this week. Between Wednesday and Thursday, you can see that swing before closing Friday near the beginning of the week where it started. And here's the oil price. We continue to climb this very strong trajectory for the USO here. And we can see with Friday, we actually had a new closing high as well for the oil price. So this is not looking good at all. And this is probably the biggest problem right now that hurts most economies. Next, we look at gold price. Gold price have also fallen pretty hard this week. You can see it undercut the 50-day red line here. And then we gap down on Thursday and Friday. We fall through on the selling. We are now below many levels. We are starting to come back to the previous base high, prior high here. This is looking pretty bad, and volume has picked up significantly. Here's gold also dropping, silver. This is also dropping really hard. This is much closer to the black line 200-day moving average. This one also had a huge run since this base right here and running up pretty strong. Now look at where we are. We are at near $61, at least on this ETF. Is coming back to near the $48 or $49 here. Here's Bitcoin trying to make a move early in the week, but again, it fell back to below the short-term moving average, and now we are below it again. Although volume is not as strong, so maybe there's a potential rebound there. But so far, again, this cannot climb back here. Hi, here we're going to look at the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline daily line here. You can see it's been dropping very sharply here. On Friday, we see huge volume coming in from the quadruple option expiration reaching day. And down here, we have Nasdaq advanced decline daily line also coming down really hard. Also huge volume on Friday. And down here, we see this is the put call trading volume. And right now, it hit one level, which is pretty high as you look back here. Generally, when they pass one, there's a lot of it's a secondary indicator where a lot of people are buying puts more than at this right now the puts are at the highest level, and so that usually coincides with possible short-term lows here. But again, it could go further up. It has gone up to 1 point something in the past, 1.1, 1.2 even. So again, but maybe it is getting close to a short-term bottom here. Obviously no one know what will happen long term, but maybe short term, it could maybe stabilize here. So late Friday, President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he's considering winding down the Iran war, saying military efforts have degraded Iran's missile and nuclear capabilities, and that came after hours. After that statement, the market index did go up after hours. Here's a chart of, in this case, QQQ, but you can see here it did climb after hours here by roughly 0.8%. So we'll see how the market open, whether things has changed. Obviously, we see Iran retaliate as well to a UK and US defense base there, some little island. So that also might have an implication on how US move forward. So the situation continue to be a turbulent one. Next week we have earnings from KRMN and firm construction firm Argon, AGX, and KRMN. Here we're looking at WenX Semiconductor ETF, and right now it is down this week, but not too bad, only 0.6% from last week, but we are below the red line, so just a little bit, not too much, so it's okay. Here's the daily chart. So for the week, it actually hold on pretty well until even Thursday, it rebound back from the low. But Friday, we did give up following the market trend. But again, we're not that far above, below the red line here. So there's still a chance to bounce back again. But let's see if it does continue to make new low, especially if break this 374 level, which is about 10 points away, then that becomes a bigger concern. Looking at the mega cap tax right now, this is NVDA chart, and you can see this red line here has become a center point. And but recently, we're starting to make lower lows now. It did. Let me see here on Friday, 171, 172. So it hasn't really make a new low because this one is 171.03, but we're very close to it. So again, whether this is capitulation or not, we don't know. On Friday, we do have really high volume coming in, but we could see another bounce because this chart just looks like every time it just bounced back to the red line there. And if it doesn't, then yeah, we can have a bigger problem. We undercut like the 170, 169 to 171 level here, which is a big support area. This is AMD. Surprisingly, it didn't undercut the black line this last week, despite of all this turbulence. So that is a sign of support, at least on the lower channel line. On the upper channel line, we do want to see it cross above this, and then ultimately the red line, and then that will provide more support level. Here's TSM. It's also in a downtrend. It didn't make a new low on Friday, which is interesting, but it is near the lows though. Here we have Broadcom, also coming down on a downtrend. It's not at the ultimate low yet. We still have a couple of support level here, but yeah, it's trading really tight, so that looks okay as well. But yeah, we still need to come back above this red line and all the short-term moving averages. Here's IGV for the software sector here, like going up 2 weeks here, but then we came back down. So far, coming down is not as strong as it came up. That 2 weeks versus the 2 weeks down. So from that perspective, it looks okay, but we are below the red line here. That is the problem. And that red line here is the 50-day moving average, and we never really came close to it, as you see in the daily chart here. We bounced back pretty strong, and now we are back on the downtrend. We are trading below all the short-term moving averages. So, we need to find support. On Friday, the volume is lower than Thursday's volume, at least on the sell side. So maybe we are starting to exhaust the selling side. Usually, when you see much lower volume, that's a good sign. But at this moment, it's still hard to tell until we see a significant bounce here. So first, look at Palantir. Palantir has been trading really tight, but Friday it came back down to the lows again. It closed near the lows, but it's still near the 21-day line, and the 10-day is also near that level. So basically this whole range here from the high to the lows here are a very tight range. So from that perspective, it's really healthy because the stock came up quite a bit, it's digesting, and now the red line has come down to it. So if we see a significant move, that could be a signal that the new uptrend continues here. Probably the biggest threat to the software group, continue with some of the mega caps here. We have Microsoft hitting new lows here. 380 was the low here. So that not a good sign. Every time you see new lows, that is not a good sign. So we'll need to see this bounce very soon. Google looking okay because it's just slightly below the 1021 day. We still have the two support level here on the lows to test that. Here we have Amazon. We're also falling below the short-term moving average. It's been trading around this tight range here. We're at the low here. Again, we need to see a bounce soon after Friday's big sell off there. Meta continue to deteriorate in terms of where the price is, and we are currently sit below the previous low here as well, so that's not a good sign. And the downtrend slope is has steepened quite a bit as well. Apple is also coming down to its black line here, the 200-day moving average. Tesla also lost its grip around the black line 200-day moving average. Now it's falling 2 days below that line now, dropping significantly. Netflix has, recently bounced back pretty strong, but it start trading tightly, pulling back to the short-term moving average. On Thursday, it did lose that 10-day and fall back to the pink line here. So right now, it's trying to find support at the pink line. Considering Friday is a negative day for most stocks, this stock actually didn't go down and just hold near the neutral level. So that's considered positive. So now we'll continue with the second part of the video, where we're going to talk more about the growth stocks list that I follow. For this week, the IBD has their allocation at 0 to 20%, which is pretty much market in correction type mode. Um, and looking at the Friday, like I said, we have Monday we have oil slide, but which kind of give a little broad rally, and then on Tuesday we have rising oil prices, and then on Wednesday we have the Fed hold steady on rates, but stocks fall pretty hard after. Stock cut losses on Thursday as oil price fall a little bit, but then Friday the 10-year yield spike and stocks dive. With that being said, the stocks under accumulation was 123 by the end of the week, and on distribution was 671, significantly more. And on the industry group side, also we're seeing lots of groups are getting hit hard on distribution. On the different sectors, we're only seeing mostly energy, not so much the material side. Still a little bit up, but overall, every area, sector, technology, retail being hit hard, industrial hard, financial being hit hard, even health is getting hit hard. There's, like I said, not many areas are bucking this trend at all. On my growth stock list, I have roughly 559 stocks right now. Out of that, 489 is in a downtrend, meaning they're below their short-term moving average, and 41 is still in uptrend, which is less than 10%, like 8%, and 29 of them are just near they're within that 1% of their moving average. So here's the growth stock list that I have. Here's the symbol, and then they're being ranked based on performance on the price since January 6th, and right now it's March 20th. And this is where the 10 and 21 day is, whether it's above it or below it. And then we have highest date, whether it hit a new recent high on that day. And here's the group and sector here. And ranked number one, we have Lumentum, symbol LITE, still doing really well, making a new high on Friday as well. This is in the fiber optics area. So on Thursday, we make a new high close, and then on Friday, we went up slightly higher before reversing, and that was a big reversal. Again, Friday, many stocks, growth stocks were following that trend and got hit pretty hard. But with that being said, this stock has shown tremendous strength. We came down here and then here as well, and both times we were able to bounce back. And then, like I said, we did make a new high here on Thursday and Friday before reversing by end of the week. But overall, this uptrend is still pretty strong. Here's VIAV also in the same group. So on Thursday, it came near the previous high here. On Fridays, very similar chart to Lumentum, where it climbed a little bit in the morning and then it did reverse by end of day. So that was a little bit weaker in that sense. But we still have this very strong momentum moving upward on those moving average. And here's Sienna also in the same fiber optics group. This one is very strong. It came out 4 sessions ago, and it continued to climb to a new high on Thursday. And then Friday, very similar in the morning, it climbed a little bit before reversing. It's still where the 10-day is still sitting below it, so that looks good. And rank number two, we have the semiconductor group here. We have ICHR. ICHR Holdings here is bouncing really strong recently. Look at the 10-day slope here. On Thursday, it closed pretty strong, but Friday, it was pulled back following the market in general. Another stock here is Tower Semiconductor. It did really well here on Thursday. It blew out the base on really high volume here. And from there, it continued on Friday before pulling back by end of day again, following the market condition in general. Here's Applied Materials, symbol AMAT. This one also have a nice bounce on Thursday, following support at the 10-day. On Friday, it tested once more before closing pretty good as well, near near Thursday's high. ARM Holdings also been bouncing pretty strong, finding support on Thursday. On Friday, it did come up to the black line 200-day moving average here before pulling back by end of day. Next, we look at rank number 3. This is all the data storage area, SNDK, WDC, and STX. Once again, this group continued to show strength this week, coming out in new high territory. And Sandisk moved to new high also on Thursday, closing high. And Friday, it did close back down after being pulled back by the general market conditions here. Next, we have WDC also pushing to new high by Thursday. However, Friday again pushing back, coming back down to the 10-day. STX hasn't made new high, but it did bounce pretty good on the lower channel line. You can see the slope pretty strong. However, Friday it did come back down as well, still above the 10-day. As for MU, it did try to come out on Wednesday here. However, after report earnings, it didn't do as well. It came back down, even despite it beat a lot of the numbers here. You can see the numbers are all in the triple digits growth here, and tremendous numbers. And then on Friday, again, it did pull back down from the general market condition. Right now it's at the 21-day line. So we'll see if it can bounce back from here. Other areas that are showing a little bit of strength as well. We have Net here in the software enterprise, IoT, Intuit in the financial software, A10, software enterprise, CARG, Yelp, T, Pcore, Intel, DSGX, VRSN, EXTR. The top 4 is all in the tech area. Next, rank number 5 is EQNR in the oil and gas related area. You see here, we see that there's once filtered by energy area, we see that there's oil and gas doing well. A lot of oil and gas. We also see some energy coal area doing well here. The first one is EQNR. This has rise significantly from this level right here. From there, it keep climbing, and now it's accelerated quite significantly in the last few sessions here. So it almost does look like a climax top setting up. So definitely very risky to buy at this level, because at some point it could form another base here. So something to be aware of. But yes, this oil and gas area is doing really well. Next, we have VIST, Vista Energy, also bouncing really strong at a really strong slope. We also have KGS, EAR, FTI. We have GEV in the energy area, alternative energy. We have RRC. Then we have CNR in the coal area. This is core natural resource, doing really well. Broke out on Thursday. Friday, look at that. This is one of the few stocks that actually bucked the downtrend on Friday. So that's worth. And look at the volume on the buy side. It's been really strong. Next, we have EQT, YPF, PSX, CRK, all this in the oil and gas. And then in the coal area, we have BTU, HCC, AMMR, and then we have EXE in the oil and gas. So I'm only filtering based on uptrend and within 1% at this moment. So downtrends I have avoid here. But to go down the list, the next area we see here is API, ranked 31 in the consumer service education area. ASTH in the managed healthcare area. We have leisure gaming, RSI. We have Guardian in the medical service area. Guardian, this is a newer name on my list, and it's showing lots of strength lately. It's trying to come out. It did find support multiple times at the red line here, and it's currently above the 10-day. And like I said, Friday it did break out and close to new high. Again, another stock that is very hard to find, that is showing strong relative strength, doing better than the market even on Friday. Next, we have EXPE, Expedia, bouncing back in the travel area. We have TW in the financial service specialty, Geo in the REIT area. We have Fire Alive also reported earnings on Thursday here. Pretty strong move, breaking out. On Friday, it did pull back to near the buy point. So we'll see if we can find support there. We have New York Times here, MYT in the newspaper area. We have BLN in the medical research group. Then at 101 ranking, we have FCFIs in the consumer loan area and so forth. So yeah, you can go through this. There's not many stocks really that are in uptrend, right? And most of them are near the moving averages here. And if I show the downtrend stocks, there's significant amount of downtrend stocks. As you go through this, we see mod here, even some area in the oil and gas even not doing well, LB. So it's a very tough market to even try to make any progress here. So yeah, so this is week has been another tough week, especially we broke the 200-day. We'll continue to see if this downtrend will continue. We don't have much support level right now, although it does feel like a little bit oversold. We look at the up down ratio earlier. The problem, despite Friday's big drop, the VIX didn't climb that much. Usually, we like to see a huge panic where the VIX jump a lot. That could be a secondary indicator showing lots of fear and people just puking up their shares and giving up, other than any long-term investor left, stuff like that. But we didn't see a strong VIX bounce on Friday, so that also not the best indicator at this moment. Thank you all for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I hope we have a better week next week. Have a good weekend.